Hello and welcome to the eCC podcast. Now, guys, we've got to be honest with you, we have screwed up a little bit this week and we didn't get a brand locked in. So we decided that a bit of a fight was in order. So, Peter, what the fuck are we actually doing today?
We have got, Mr. Pearce, we've got 3 rounds. Yeah. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be dropping in some contrarian statements. That's a big word for me.
That's a massive word for you, yeah.
It's crazy. I'm surprised I didn't slur my words there. So we'll discuss those. And we've got 3 options on these contrarian statements. Either you and I are going to unanimously agree. There's another big word for you. Or we're both going to disagree. Or you and I are going to disagree with each other. So we've got 3 ways for each one of these statements to go. And if we do, that's when we're going to have a bit of fun and we're going to have a bit of a fight and give our opinions. So that's round 1. Round 2, we'll take turns in asking each other some, let's say, provocative questions and try and wind each other up and see if that works. And lastly, we'll go into round 3 where we'll do a choose one showdown. We'll give you 2 options, and we've got to quickly, without thinking, gut reaction, choose one of them. And again, very similar to that first round, we're either going to agree or disagree here, and then we'll chat about the agreement or the disagreement and the reasons why we agree or disagree with each other. And
Is this got to be e-commerce related, or can it be like personal digs as well?
I mean, look, what's it going to say? You got a big head or you don't have a big head? Well, we know what the answer is to that.
See, you started already. Okay. Start as you mean to go on then.
Hey, retailers and e-commerce brands, this event is for you. Join us at Retail Fest 2025 on the sunny Gold Coast in Aussie from the 28th to the 30th May. You'll meet industry experts, network with fellow business leaders, and pick up simple yet effective strategies to grow your brand. Think of it as a relaxed chat with the best in the business where you'll leave with useful tips you can put into action straight away. Don't wait. Get your tickets now at retailglobal.com.au. Retail Fest 2025 is where the future of retail happens.
First statement for us there. CRO is overrated. If your product is good enough, you don't need it. Bullshit. How do you feel about that statement?
Bullshit. Because it's the old, build it and they will come thing. And we still get this. And I've had this actually recently with a brand on a call where they've gone, look, actually, the product's so good that people will see it and they want to buy it. Ultimately, when you take someone to a site, you need to hold their hand all the way through it. You need to show them where they need to go next. And if you don't think about CRO from the outset of building the site, you're not going to win.
I was going to disagree with you just because I felt like starting with part, but you laid out a good point. I think from the point of view where I was going to disagree with this one was, I think it is true. If you've got when I say I think it is true to a degree, if you have got a very good product, yes, it's one hell of a lot easier to sell, right? And we've seen it. We've seen businesses come to us with a site that is so shockingly shit. But they still sell. And we go, okay, geez, but like, how the hell are they getting this conversion rate? And you go, well, they've got a great product. Awesome. They've got good ads. Cool. They've got a great ability to market their products. Getting to the website, yes, they're still making sales. But I think that's despite. They're still making sales despite of their shit website. But ultimately, where that caveat comes in with the disagreement on this one for me was, you're only going to do better if you do some CRO on your website.
Definitely. And I think...
Yeah, carry on.
No, I was going to say, I think the other thing as well is it's like, also with CRO, people sometimes obsess about converting that new customer that comes to site. But what they don't think about then is the second and the third sale and the experience that then people have using email, and also then in terms of any post-purchase activity. So yes, okay, you might say, well, look, like you said there, you've got a great product, people buy it, but do they recommend it? Do they then come back? Do they then actually then come back for the second, third, fourth purchase if it is that kind of product? Those experiences matter. And often people then don't think about that in the CRO realm and just think it's all about, okay, yeah, we send some traffic from a paid ad, we convert them, go. That's what CRO is about. It's not. We know it's not, because businesses wouldn't be able to survive if they just focused on that initial purchase.
Yeah. It's like, if we put a little analogy on this, it's like a supermarket not putting your little quick grab and go chocolate bars on the till.
100%.
Not laying out their store in the right way, where you've got the milk as you walk in, and you can also get the bread. And then guess what? People are just getting milk and bread and leaving. That's put at the back of the building for a reason, so that you get through the store. And it's exactly the same thing with the website. You've got to be guiding people through to get that average order value up, and also, at the end of it, filter them through to the till area and get them paid.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that is really not the case. So yeah, I think we're agreed.
I wanted to fight you.
Let's see how we get on.
Email marketing is dying, and people are numb to it.
You can go first. Yeah, go for it.
I think this one is BS. I think that email marketing is just as it always was. It's a marketing channel that you can always use. If you are solely using email marketing as your acquisition or your retention strategy, 100%, that's not going to work for you. But I still feel that email marketing is not something that's dying. I think it's something that is going to live for a lot longer until we find something that actually replaces email. People need to communicate. Brands are going to communicate with you. Think about, like for me, WhatsApp. People are using WhatsApp to send me promotional messages. Hell no. WhatsApp is not for that. They're trying to go away from the email marketing and go into WhatsApp, which is more for, that's my leisure time. Not doing it. I think email marketing's still there. It's still a channel. It wouldn't say it's dying. If it's dying a very, very, very slow death, in my opinion.
I am going to disagree with you on a couple of fronts here, because I think the problem with email marketing now is there's this perception that everyone's got to do email marketing and it's all about volume and it's all about campaigns. That side of your marketing is definitely dying. And, everyone knows this, listen to this. When you get a promotional email through, most of the time, unless it's actually something that is really relevant to you or it's something you're looking for, it is complete and utter junk. I think the thing is with email marketing is there is so much of that being done now that's why people say it is dying, because there is so much crap. But on the other hand, if you're being smart with email marketing, where you're then using data to then understand what that customer wants. So if you are using zero-party data, first-party data to actually then give them something that they need based also on their previous purchase, then I think email marketing, still can be a very, very strong channel. And I think the people that say that email marketing is dying are the ones who are looking at that very broad brush approach of going, look, there's so much of it out there now. It isn't the case. I think what you said about WhatsApp, I disagree with you on this, because ultimately now with WhatsApp, I think there is an ability to do well there, because it's that expectation that with WhatsApp, what you're going to do is just going to get that message from that shit group you've been part of for 3 years with 10 people that you don't even really give a damn about. With WhatsApp, it's the kind of element of surprise. And I think for me, this is why we've seen this resurgence of things like direct mail, because people getting direct mail now from e-commerce brands, all they expect to get through their front door is either pamphlets from the local takeaway or a bill. If you get something in the post that's a little bit unusual that you're not expecting, actually you expect then to see a pretty good return on that, because it's that kind of element of surprise. At the moment, for me, I would say WhatsApp. I know we're kind of straying off topic a little bit here, but it is that kind of element of surprise. At the moment, it's not oversaturated, particularly, in the UK. And I think that is a good channel to use. So there's our first fight point.
If a brand WhatsApps me, they are getting marked as spam, blocked. It's not happening again. That's honest truth. I just cannot. That's like a no-go zone for me. Just don't come into my WhatsApps.
I mean, maybe you've got more interesting friends than me, but like for me, WhatsApp is just a shit show. It's just people moaning or send me pictures of their kids. I've got my own kids. I don't see your kids. They send me something interesting. And I think like if it was me, like if there was something that I was, I've been on the site, I've been looking at it, they would give me an offer or they tell me about a new product, I'd be like, yeah, I'll have a look at that by all means. I don't think it can be the only strategy you use, but I think WhatsApp marketing for me, I think can definitely bolster the email marketing side, direct mail side, all the other campaigns that you would then do.
So I think we would split on this one, but I think probably, and maybe you'd agree with this statement, email marketing isn't dead, but it's just got a lot more mature and something that needs support.
Yeah. Shit campaign email marketing is dead. Personalized email marketing is not.
Yes, I agree with that too. So we both cover that from slightly different angles, but we agree there's something in the middle here.
Hit us up with the next one, big boy.
You don't need a brand story, just have a better price and faster shipping.
I mean, it's kind of related to the last one, isn't it? And the other previous one about having a really good, strong product, because again, if you have that strong product, do you necessarily need a brand story? But what I would say is, if you think about the best products out there, the brand story is often a big part of it. And I think, you know, there are very few cases where you have a product that is solving a very unique problem that people haven't come about before. And actually then it solves that issue that, you know, if you think most things have been thought of now to solve problems, haven't they? So if you don't have a brand story with it, it's going to be quite hard to sell that. And I think equally as well, especially what happened over kind of the COVID period, consumers,
Not
we all, no, let's say, do I get a fine for that?
Can't say.
Okay, well, in that period that we won't refer to, I think people got a lot more interested in where their products are coming from. I think they got a lot more interested in who was behind those products because they had more time, they had more choice. And I think that has kind of continued now. So I think on my front, I think overall, I think you do need a brand story. And equally with that, then you don't necessarily need to have a better price and faster shipping. If the brand story and the product's strong, people will be prepared to pay a higher price and wait longer to have that product shipped. What are you saying, bro?
I think we sort of in agreement here because it's a slight caveat on these things. But here's my take. You don't need a brand story if you're big enough that your problems are people aren't buying because your price isn't good enough and your shipping isn't fast enough. Because then you've already built your brand, right? You do need a brand story if you're small. You don't need a brand story, just a better price and faster shipping. If you're small, there's no ways, even with a better price and faster shipping, that you're going to sell, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you need a brand story to start selling, and then eventually one of your problems to tackle would be potentially looking at a better price. But if you build your brand story, you don't need a better price, you can charge more. So I fundamentally disagree with this statement. It's just wrong in all different ways. I mean, because you need a brand story until you're big enough, but then you've got a brand story.
I think, look, let's talk about real talk with this, okay? Think about drop shipping. Where the fuck is drop shipping now? It's dead. It's gone.
Thank goodness.
But the reason for that is because it was a load of faceless shit being imported from Alibaba, stuck onto a Shopify site, being fulfilled and then sent across. No brand story connected to it. It was purely based on price. Where's it gone? It's died because people don't want to shop in that way.
Temu. The ultimate drop shipping. I mean, maybe just Temu just went, look, everybody that is drop shipping, step aside. I'm Temu. I will own this space. That's it.
But I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? Like they've also, you know, Temu and Shein, they've then wiped out those drop shippers, like you say, because they can do it even cheaper and they can do it with a great efficiency than those guys could do. Personally, for me,
they got a brand story though.
What, they're cheap and they use slave labor to produce their products?
Well, it's a brand,
allegedly.
It's a brand story. Might not be a good one, but it's there.
Man, I'm not a fan of that model for many ways.
I refuse to shop on Temu.
It's just yeah. I don't want to talk any more about them. It's making my blood boil already. My fingers tingle.
So this one, I think we'd agree with you need a brand story.
Yeah, I think so.
Next one, big head. The customer isn't always right. In fact, they're often wrong.
What are you saying?
Yeah, possibly. Possibly the customer isn't right. But if you're looking at it more from a theoretical business mindset, you want to look after that customer. So they are right. They're right in the sense that you need to look after them. You need to, if they've got a customer query or customer complaint, speak to them, sort it out. It doesn't mean that they are correct in what they are saying, but they're right in the fact that they've got an issue.
Yeah.
Yes, you might get some people that are completely left field and you don't want to be talking to them. And at the end of the day, if you don't look after them, it's going to be on you. And if they've maybe got a following on a social media platform, they could potentially destroy you. So I would say they are right in the fact that you've got to deal with them. And you've got to deal with them with kid gloves, look after them, because ultimately that shit, we know if you get a bad review from a customer and that shit is on your site, and then you answer it and you bust the objections correctly and you show the processes that you've gone to fix that, ultimately that sells as well. When people see a bad review and they see a brand replying to it and their brand showing you the process of what they did to make that right, then you go, okay, cool. Even if this is bad, I get a refund, and this is a brand that I'll shop with because my risk is reduced at that point.
I mean, I think it's saying, it's like what I would say is actually, I do agree with this statement in the fact that the customer isn't always right, and in fact, often they are wrong, but that's irrelevant. We need to look at that as an opportunity, like you say, of basically saying, even if they are being irrational, trying to then deal with them in a rational way that results in either something publicly being more positive for you or getting them on side is what you need to do. So I think, if everyone would just accept that the customer isn't always right and often they are wrong, but you then have processes in place to make sure you make the most of the situation, you get a win. So I think we just need to change mindset on that one, rather than being like, the customer's wrong and we're not going to serve them, or we're not going to give them this or that, the other.
That shit goes viral quickly.
Yeah, 100%.
Next one. Most loyalty programs are just disguised discount schemes.
Loyalty, man. I mean, look, the issue for me is the concept of loyalty programs, I think, is a good one. The major issue is the execution. And the problem is that the vast majority of people or brands, when they bring a loyalty program, do the same shit that everyone else does. They install an app that's often points-based, and they bring some tiers into it. In those tiers, then, there often is then an ability then to earn points that then accumulate. Brands then don't let their customers know how many points they've got. They don't give them any quantifiable understanding of actually what those points can give them. And those points then sit there, and then all goes, loyalty programs are a waste of time and they're bullshit. So actually, the problem here is that it's not so much the concept of loyalty, it's the fact that people don't understand how to actually make it an incentive to get people to buy. The whole process of loyalty programs was supposed to be there to encourage people to repeat purchase. And each time then you would increase the AOV, increase the profitability of each of those sales. That doesn't happen because either people don't use their points because they don't know about them, or what they do is they then bang it all up into one chunk. They use that then, and then the brand then makes a loss in that particular order. So for me, I think, loyalty programs going more down the route now of either being a bit more creative about how those tiers are structured, or indeed going more down the cashback route where people actually get a value that they can attribute, that they can see related to their next order, for me is a better way to go. So that's how I feel about them. But yeah, loyalty is a big pain in the ass.
If you're going to do it, you've got to do this one properly. This isn't one that you can rush. And I agree with everything he said. So there's no fighting for us for this one. Best loyalty program is actually, in my opinion, a little stamped card, business card size, put it in your wallet. But even these days, I don't have a wallet, so it needs to probably be an app if you're going to somewhere. Coffee shop, 6 coffee free. if you can implement that very same thing on your website, make it super simple, make people know every 6th order I get free. Works great for subscription brands, clothing brands, probably not so much. But at the same time, you've got to have a repeatable element for a loyalty program to work.
I want to pick you up on something there as well that drives me crazy. And it's when brands have loyalty programs that are either only active in store or are active online, and you can't actually cross-pollinate both of those. And it drives customers absolutely mad. It can be done because you can integrate a lot of loyalty programs with POS systems. If you're going to do it, make sure there's that ability to use it across both, because it's the same thing we keep hearing, don't we? Customers will come into a brand using different options and different avenues, whether that is the site directly, whether that is Amazon, whether that is TikTok Shop, whatever it might be. People are flipping between the different routes. Equally as well, customers will flip between, if you've got an on-site and online presence, between when they buy. Don't then try and encourage them to then spend with you in one versus the other if actually they're exhibiting behavior to go in each of them. And there's nothing worse than going up to a thing and, oh, I've got a loyalty program for you guys, and sorry, actually, we don't accept those in store, because then it just puts you off, and it's then going to mean that you actually don't shop with them as frequently.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Going back to what I said, if you're going to do it properly, right?
Exactly.
Moving on. I think we're both in agreement with the loyalty programs. So if you need paid ads to survive, your business isn't sustainable. So my turn to go first?
Go for it.
If you need paid ads to survive, your business isn't sustainable. Yes, I agree with this statement. Because what happens if Meta, Google, everything turns off overnight? What's going to happen to your business? If you don't have an existing client base, or not client base, customer base that is driving repeat purchases, some sort of loyalty, not a loyalty program, let's not go there again, some sort of loyalty and affinity to your brand, a brand somewhere that people find you organically, whatever it might be. If you can't survive without paid ads,
no, disagree with you. For me, you need to have paid ads to survive. Like, you need to have email marketing, like you need to have organic traffic. And I think, for me, that is always going to be part of the mix that you need in terms of being able to drive traffic to the site and in terms of being able to get customers back to the site. I think the level of paid ads that you have needs to change, but I definitely think that, you can't say that a business isn't sustainable if they're using paid ads, because
that's not, I didn't understand the question like that, or the statement, I should say. The way that I understood it was, if I turned off paid ads today, would my business survive? For me, then your business is not sustainable. If you have to turn off, if you had to turn off ads today, will you still drive enough sales to survive? When we say survive, we're not talking about growing, going more crazy, but will your business stay at the same level if you were just using email marketing, SMS marketing, WhatsApp, organic socials, I said email marketing, all those things that you don't necessarily pay for? Will your business still have repeat purchases? Or will you still attract customers in some way? Maybe that be with your content that you produce with blogs. That's another story that might come up later, but blogs definitely don't drive sales, drive traffic, not sales. But that's the way I understood that statement to be. If we turn this off, will your business survive? I 100% agree with you. It should be in the mix, yes. A brand should be using Facebook ads. It should be using Google ads. I mean, everything else is coming on board as well. But
I think that's the thing, isn't it? But e-com brands are terrible at over-indexing on one particular channel. And, I hear it week in, week out. Like we want to start thinking about SEO now, or we want to start thinking about PPC, or want to start thinking about email marketing. Yeah, you do. And you need to do it now and need to be in the mix. So, this kind of whole thing, like 10 years ago, where you would literally get brands who were doing 80-90% their ads through paid traffic. In a way, at the time, that was fine because it was pretty stable. It was cheap as fuck to do it. and people were getting, 15, 20 ROAS, happy days. But we know
No,
now.
you don't even break even on their first purchase.
I mean, I heard the other day, like someone saying they're getting like 1.2 to 1.6 ROAS. Like shit, that's tight.
Yeah, I remember we spoke to a brand that was heavy in growth phase. I think they were heavily funded, and it took them 5.5 purchases. Subscription business, 5.5 purchases, so 5.5 months down the line before they broke even on that customer. So basically, it was like any customer that came in, acquisition, purchased, and didn't get to 5.5, they made no money on that customer.
That's
like
risky.
that was mental. Like, look, they did have a sticky product, which was good for them, but they had a massive issue with their acquisition of people coming in and not getting to that point, and it was costing them a lot of cash. Do you sell stuff online? Then you need OmniSend. Yes, that OmniSend. The powerful yet refreshingly intuitive email and SMS tool that helps you make $73 on average for every dollar spent. Like watching steady lines go up and up and up? Just automate your email and SMS campaigns with OmniSend. Set it up once, then sit back and watch the sales roll in while you snooze. You're still awake? Then go to omnisend.com/ECC. Give OmniSend a try and start getting sales so steady they'll definitely put you to sleep. Don't forget to use code ECC30 for a 30% discount.
Pete, I want to stop you for a second. I hear a proverbial knock at the door. Is it someone at the door?
Not my dog's will bark.
Oh, sorry.
There he is.
Knock at the door. I've been left in a backstage room for the last 7 minutes. There were no evidence.
Well, that's what happens when you're 28 minutes late to the start of this podcast.
Well, that's what happens when you message me at 6:15 in the morning to ask me if I want to come onto it. And some of us have to do real work.
Yeah.
Don't just sit with our ornaments making wrong. I think you should, every week you should do something different with the camel and the elephant and see if people notice.
I've actually got, you might not be able to see it now, but my youngest he's making little like figurines out of clay, and I've got a whole stack of them now. Like, he brings them in and he stacks them on the shelves. He had actually started to put them on the other shelves, but he's now wanting his own little collection at the bottom.
I've just got this viral little duck thing. I don't know if it's hit Australia or whether you've seen Adam, but around this entire office building are these little plastic ducks, and then now they're at home as well, and they're like a currency that kids are using to, like, like we had Pogs or football stickers.
Pogs and Tazos.
They're exchanging these little ducks, which, yeah. Are you standing? Yeah, I'm going to stand up as well. Hang on.
With the state of your short legs. There we go. Anyway, Richard, people who don't know you, who the fuck are you and what do you do?
And why?
I fill in for you or Nathan when you're too busy going to non-English speaking conferences in Eastern Europe. At Econ Fellow Club, the host, and then do real work in between that as the leader of an agency called Get Better, who specialize in email marketing.
Beautiful. Smooth.
Yeah.
He's got that wax there.
Should we throw some of this shit at Rich then, Peter?
Yeah.
I watched for a little bit, and you guys were agreeing and getting on way too much. There's expletives, there's nothing. It's
frustrating me that we're agreeing so much. Just to get you up to speed, what we're doing, Rich. First round, we're still on the first round right now. We're bringing up some contrarian views on growth and what people think about different things in e-com. And then we're just shooting, seeing if we agree with these things or not. So you're up, sir.
I'm just Googling Contrarian.
That is very okay.
Popular opinion.
TikTok is the new Facebook, and it'll decline just as fast.
It's all very political, isn't it? I think I read the other day that Trump now wants America to buy it and put it into a new, what's it called, like a fund. They want to sort of mirror the UAE type thing. I don't think it's a generational thing, isn't it? And I think we, unfortunately, are the generation that sort of co-founded Facebook, and as we decline, it's declining with it. Our time to spend on these platforms and stuff goes, and what Facebook, you can either say what Facebook didn't do is latch onto that, but what Facebook did do is actually latch onto that, and so bought Instagram and is now trying to latch onto this TikTok thing. I think we can safely say it's beyond a fad. It's going to last. It's lasted a pretty major political shift, and it's got the most powerful man in the world is the one that made it stay. So I don't think it's going to decline as fast as Facebook. I think it's, if anything, probably going to get a little bit bigger. And all of this publicity, it became the forbidden fruit, doesn't it? As soon as you take something away from people, they're going to want it even more. So I don't think it was even for publicity when it was potentially going to be taken away, and people would find ways. So no, I think it's here to stay, and people need to embrace it or get left behind.
I mean, the thing as well is like, when we had that, ban that was basically a PR stunt a couple of weeks back, Instagram reported that they'd had like the biggest surge in signups to the platform since they effectively started. So ultimately, even if it does, die, or if it does get banned or whatever it might be, at the end of the day, the people out there who are making money from content creation or promoting their businesses is going to flip to the platform anyway. So, I don't personally, for me, I don't see it as being a massive risk, but I do think it will be around. And I think equally as well, it's at that stage now where people are, the early adopters are obviously, well into their journey with it, especially from a TikTok shop point of view and selling through it. And then you're starting to see the bigger brands now who are also getting involved with it as well. Particularly like the Unilevers, the Procter & Gambles of the world, they are also getting involved with TikTok shop. So that for me is an indication that we'll see more of kind of the mid-market brands who are going to get more involved. So I don't think it is the new TikTok, the new Facebook. I think it's here to stay. But even if it does, well, we'll find another route.
I 100% concur with both of you. It's actually about to just explode. How long has TikTok Shop been in the UK for now? Don't know. Take a guess. Probably.
Let's say a year and a half, 2 years.
It's literally about to hit Australia. There's 11 million users in Australia that are on TikTok on a daily basis, and this is like literally a gold mine that is about to be mined here in this country. And if you think about it, I don't know the stats of where it's been rolled out so far, TikTok Shop. But if it's not here yet, it's not going to be in a lot of places yet, because they've actually got TikTok offices here as well. So, now they're rolling out TikTok Shop here. It's going to be huge down here, and it hasn't started yet. So how can you say that it's going to decline this fast? I just think we're far too early to tell if it is going to decline, and it's going to probably need something else. Just like all the other social platforms needed something else to come and disrupt it.
Yep.
But I mean, we've got to video, and how are you going to get people off this dopamine hit of quick shot videos when we're so heavily embedded in it?
It is like the new crack cocaine, isn't it? Let's face it.
It's just
Your little brain. I mean, I've got a big brain. You've got a little brain. That's why I've got a big. Oh, he's gone.
That's rude.
Yeah, very rude. Now, Wally's out.
Just while I'm on that note of TikTok, running an event 7th of March in Australia, teaching people, not me, somebody that's very good at TikTok Shop, teaching people exactly how to use TikTok Shop as soon as it lands. Watch the space. Make sure that you find the link when we push that live. Probably tomorrow, pushing that event live. So that's my little plug of our event. Banners, discounts. Can I go first on this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Hell yes. Do not discount. Stop doing it. Stop giving me 10% the minute I freaking arrive on your site. I don't even know if I want to buy it yet. Why are you giving me a discount? Maybe I would have bought it without you giving me a discount. What is the point of giving me 10%? If you want to give me 10% for buying first time, make sure you give me 10% about the second time. Why are you not rewarding me for coming back to your site? Annoys me. If I'm a loyal person and I go, okay, first time I purchase, I can get 10%, but I come back, oh, screw you, thanks for being loyal, you don't get 10% off. Rather freaking go and put your prices down by 10% and actually sell the product at 10% cheaper. Why give a 10% discount just for signing up to your newsletter?
Rick, you need to come in on this one because, mate, I'm sure, look, you use discounts in the client's email marketing. What's your spin?
So I probably would lean towards agreeing with Bob, but this is supposed to be an event where we're disagreeing, so I'm going to play devil's advocate and say, let's say you are converting 5% of the people that land on your website. And so for every 100 people that get served that pop-up, 5, arguably, we're going to buy anyway in that visit. The other 95 are not. If we can convert 12, 14% to a pop-up sign up, we are gathering more emails from people. And you talked just before I joined on about relying on paid ads and things. I love Triple Whale and all sorts of data and stuff. And if you look at the amount of times you have to pay to get that click from the average purchaser from Meta or something like that, and you stack up all of those clicks, and don't just look at the last click or the first click attribution, you look at total attribution, it's even scarier than what you think your cost per click is. So I would argue the argument for it. Yeah, and the straight away thing, I always say to people, treat it like a bricks and mortar shop. Wait for someone to walk in, see where they're heading, see if they pick something up, see if they're just looking, and then hit them with the shop assistant to say, is there anything I can help you with? And I can offer you a discount on one of these things if you like. So delay it, wait for a scroll or something like that. But if you look at it from a cost per acquisition basis and the cost per acquisition of email addresses, and then you can use that welcome flow to keep reaching them and keep getting those clicks at 0 cost for the next 7 days, as opposed to paying for them to remarket them basically on Meta or anywhere else where you're paying for ads, I think there is probably a good formula to run to say it's a worthwhile activity to offer a welcome incentive. Just to put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Rich, we've trained. Every brand that's done this now has trained every consumer to do this. 1, sign up to the newsletter, get 10% off. Or come back for your second purchase, use a different email address, sign up, get another 10% off. If that's worth your time, cool, go for it. But in addition to that, abandon checkouts. People go purposely to checkout, put their email address in, close their browser, wait 24 hours, wait until they get their abandoned email with a 20% discount. If we hadn't trained people, I say we, preferably the e-com industry, with this terrible habit of discounting for behavior that we don't want, we wouldn't have this issue. I think the bigger brands have the luxury now of just stopping that. People that have a good loyalty base have the ability to stop it. Unfortunately, people still trying to break it still have to abide by the rules, and they can't do it. But for me,
just discounting for discount's sake. Discounting for discount's sake, just because it's a learned behavior and that's what everybody else does. Absolutely not. I'll agree with you. I think, the abandoned cart example. So absolutely, if you do want to try and tempt people back, don't do it in the first email. Arguably don't do it in the second email. But as a last Hail Mary, if 3 days after putting it in their checkout, they haven't purchased, I think it's worth A/B testing it at the very least, but put some logic in there to say, if they've been through this abandoned cart flow before, don't offer them a discount. Because that's where you can weed out the people that have had that first sort of discount and things. And I think the A/B question, I don't know, and I'm going to go and have a look afterwards, but if there's logic with a pop-up to be able to train the pop-up to act differently based on the source of the traffic. Because if someone has come from Google Ads from a search term, I probably don't want to offer them that discount because their intent is clear. If someone's just come on a whim while they're sat on the toilet from a Meta ad, and I'm going to be cast off to how many tabs have I got open on my Safari at the moment? 373 tabs. And I reckon 370 of those are, that looks cool, I'll have a look at that later, and never do. So I think there is definitely a case for and against, but don't just do it as a learned behavior because everybody does it. Do it with purpose and do it to understand and A/B test whether 10 or 15% has any impact at all.
But this is where I'm going to jump in, and this is the same thing for email marketing we talked about earlier. That email marketing is dead, blah blah blah, all this crap. It's crap practice that shouldn't work. And it's like, for example, let's think about the discounting situation. There are some much smarter ways that you can lock someone in and get something more than giving away that 10% by itself. Rich, you and I talk about Octane AI all the time. On-site quizzes, personalization tools. You get the data from them in that process. Yes, you can still give them 10% at the end of it, but your email platform then is locked in with all of that data you collect about them to be able to better market them. Don't just give them the 10%, because, that's what we've always done. Do it in a way that's going to mean that you then get more value from that than just giving that away. And I think also as well, you've got other use cases where you've got things like Nibble, the AI tool that will allow you to negotiate. When you've got, more considered purchases, using discount in that sense does make sense if it is a more considered purchase and actually your AOV or your margin is higher, where you can do it. And like you said as well, Rich, in terms of different traffic, have different discounts when people come from different places. Don't just go in and go, oh yeah, discount 10% off for everyone that comes to site, because then you if you put bullshit on the site, you're going to get bullshit customers. If you do it in a way that actually is a bit more intelligent, and it's equally, the way you think about discounting, when you think about things like bundles or incentivized checkouts, you're only, £10 away from, free shipping. That's still a discount. And it might actually be less than the 10% that you can offer for the sign up, but you're just doing it in a way that actually is a bit more cognitive about understanding what that customer is coming from and where they need, and then trying to then get them to be a longer term customer. So I think we just got to stop this kind of lazy, let's install an app, let's put this on site and then set it and forget it. That's the problem. That's the overhang still from the dropship days, that people think you can just stick an app on site and it's going to work. It don't work like that.
Can we all agree then on, if you are going to do it, can we rid the world of welcome and hello 10? Because every time I'm buying anything on the internet, I will always try. I'm going to make a little Google Doc of them, like hello 10, hello 15, welcome 10, welcome 15. And I will try derivatives of that. And you'd be surprised at how many times it unlocks a discount that someone hasn't switched off because they once used it on a pop-up. Unique discount codes are not difficult to set up now. So can we please rid the world of static discount codes?
The obsession with personalization is a waste. Most people don't care as long as it's fast. Adam, you've touched on this a bit earlier.
I mean, are you just trying to piss me off here, or
yes, 100% trying to piss you off?
Okay, right. Let's get started on this. Personalization. People that say this think that personalization is sending me an email saying, "Hi, Adam, here is a new product." That is not personalization. Personalization is supposed to be about putting the right thing in front of the right customer based on what they want. If you don't understand what they've done on your site, if you don't understand what their search intent is, if you haven't got data from them in terms of an on-site quiz or any tool on site that's going to get more information, personalization is a waste of time, 100%. Because if you just got their name and email address, it ain't really going to do a lot for you. If you're using it in a way that means, actually, yes, this product is relevant to me and this is going to solve the thing that I've been looking at, great. In terms of it being fast, then it actually doesn't matter so much at all. Because if you're showing to a customer that you know exactly what they're looking for or very close to what they're looking for, and it's going to solve all the problems that they've got, then your shipping time can be a week, 2 weeks, because people will be prepared to then get something they actually want. So, yeah, and I hear this all the time. Personalization. Oh, why do I want to personalize again in my emails? Why would I spend all that money with the agency trying to personalize their emails? Okay, well, go for it. Go and send your Hi Adam emails. See you get on, pal. Come back to me in 3 weeks. See you get on.
Hi Adam, here's 10% off. Use
Yeah, exactly.
In the spirit of the podcast and trying to piss Adam off, I'm going to agree with it slightly. Most people don't care about personalization as long as it's fast. The second part of that phrase is true. The art is, I shouldn't know that email has been personalized to me. I should, in fact, I should be freaked out by it. It should be that message that my dad says he's turned off all the Alexas because he was having a conversation with my mum in the kitchen this morning, and then he went on Facebook and saw an ad about the thing that they were talking about, and it's listening to it. Nope. It's just really good personalization. And that ad would have been there, that email would have been there regardless. You've just been more open to it because you have been consciously talking about it as opposed to subconsciously. So yeah, absolutely will painfully agree with Adam about it isn't high rich. Yeah, I don't like to agree with you. And that's what this is all about. I got told by Peter, come on and we're going to fight. It doesn't. Yeah, hi Adam. That's not personalization. That was personalization. That was. I can imagine back when, I was young. That was a really cool thing to do, and like transformative and stuff. Personalization now, and it sort of comes back up to the pop up, is immediately trying to ascertain what you can about that person. Zero party data, first party data, whatever you can. So personalization is sending the person the thing that they didn't know they needed just before they need it.
And I think, sorry, Peter.
You two marketing heads have just gone over the personalization on email marketing. You're forgetting about on-site personalization.
I talked about Meta, but I'll accept on-site.
You're still not accepting on-site. And I was actually looking at one the other day with Octane and using the quiz data to then present the categories afterwards and making sure that you're actually restating when you show them those products, that you're restating in that things that they've answered within that quiz and the reasons why you're presenting them with the products that you've got. Too many brands just go, here's a quiz, cool, there's the products. And you go, well, why the hell are you recommending those products to me? And, especially if it's not, sometimes we see people use Octane on site and they don't then actually legitimately go and feed them the correct products off the back of it. It's not hard to do. It's easy to set up these automations that use tags on products, filter it out to make sure that you're recommending ones that actually correlate to the questions that people have asked. Same thing with search. Go and present people things that actually match their search. Or if they've searched blue T-shirt with flowers on it, cool. If you don't have any blue T-shirts with flowers, show them blue T-shirts at least. Show them flower T-shirts at least. And have a little message that says, sorry, we don't have your combination of product, but we do have these alternatives. Making those elements when people have an interaction with site, making them personalized to their interactions is important.
Peter, let me give you a real example of that. The other day, we did an audit on a site on the search data. 35% of all search queries resulted in 0 returns. Now, for me, that's part of personalization. If you can't get that right on the site, how many people are navigating away? It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking.
Left field of that, you go, okay, what are they searching for? Let's go develop a product that actually matches these searches. But other than that, making sure that you're showing them products that closely relate to their search is important.
Yeah.
We did something similar where there was a quiz on the site we're looking at the moment, and it's not an quiz. And there's this brand have two very clear differentiators. You are either in Camp A or Camp B when it comes to their products. Regardless of whether you pick Camp A or Camp B as the first question, the landing page is always the same and features all of the Camp B products. So you immediately alienate 50% of the audience that land on that page because it's not dynamic to the very core first question. So there's a lot of set and forget with these things. It's not just about having a quiz. And Caitlin put a comment on the LinkedIn side of things about the loyalty thing when we were talking about that and how there's so much set and forget. It's not enough to just have a loyalty scheme or have email marketing flows or have an on-site quiz. It's a case of making sure that that's always learning. You're always A/B testing it. You're always doing something to try and make it better, to optimize.
I think we're all in agreement here.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Damn it. Next question. Your fancy packaging isn't a growth lever. It's just pretty trash.
Wrong.
Why?
Yeah, Exhibit A. There have been, I'd say there's been as many, if not more, pieces of user-generated content on social media for the packaging of that hat than there has been for the hat itself. And by nature, this hat does not stand out in a crowd. This hat is, I've been wearing these hats for ages. It's only when you take it off, which nobody does.
No one wants to see that either.
Anyway, unless they're stealing it, that you see the sort of the wonder and the beauty of this. So yeah, I think packaging is a big thing. I think when a box comes, and lots of boxes come to our house, generally full of skin treatment and makeup and all of those sorts of wonderful things. If a Jiffy bag comes into the house, the Jiffy bag gets ripped open, the product gets thrown out on the side, the packing slip and the Jiffy bag go in the bin. If a box comes into the house, often that box is repurposed as well, and it is used for, sometimes it goes up on the, I think there is definitely a lot to be said for good packaging. Fancy packaging, you've got to come down to cost. I've got one brand that would love to do good packaging, but their average order value is £12. There is not a lot you can do there and retain any sort of margin. But I would say packaging and the extension of that, and like the personalization side of things as well. The personalized insert goes a long way as well. Something like Penny Black.
Yep. I mean, for me, one thing, this thing comes in a nice white box. And when you try and open that white box, it's got this like vacuum seal on it. And it's like slowly opens. It's almost like a little, sounds weird, almost like this little experience of you opening this box. Yeah, it's frustrating. So like, hurry up and just get out. How many people throw away their Apple box? You don't. You end up like keeping it.
I was just looking for mine. And I didn't find it. But what I did find, and I'm going to stop camera a minute and then start camera again just for effect.
So dramatic.
This. How scary is it? This is in my drawer.
Gets you in trouble, Rich.
Yeah, this has been in my drawer for, well, since you moved to Australia. So, but yeah, you're right. Those boxes are kept. There's definitely at least one or two in here from iPads and phones and things like that. I've gone actually a step further. So I haven't just kept the packaging from the eCommerce. I've still got the box it came in as well, because that's the moment that it makes it look like it's ice cream and things. So yeah, I think it's, we didn't touch on post-purchase when we talked about personalization and things, but I think, that retention sort of project goes right from the off. I don't know, there's one of the contact lens subscription brands that you get a bag of Haribo, little tiny mini bag of Haribo and stuff as well. And you constantly see people referencing that as like, if there's, 1% more reason to stay with that current brand, then yeah, I think packaging is a big miss in most instances.
Do you think it matters though what kind of product it is? Because like I understand what you guys are saying, and I agree with you, for things obviously Uncle Matt's hats and the iPhone, that kind of thing. But when it comes to things like food and drink or things that are maybe consumed faster, is there less of a need to focus on that side of it if it's going to be something that people are, using more frequently?
I don't think that's need. I think people are always you want to do something that stands out from the crowd, don't you? You want to do something that is slightly different than has gone before. And I think you want to be memorable. So I think food and drink, I think you want to be printed with food and drink. So you want it to be clear in that food and drink box where it's come from. So I think the external side of the packaging is more important. Reason being, if that's being regularly delivered, you want the neighborhood to see that that's being regularly delivered. You want to, often I work in a building called Node. So there are 40 offices in here and a big co-working space. So quite a lot of packages, and they all get left down on the side in reception. And there's definitely, in fact, Forza goal. So I saw a Forza goal that was being delivered by someone, and that triggered me to then go, yeah, actually, I want them and one of them in my garden. So I think there's many things to consider with the packaging thing, but I think it's a branding exercise. And I think you see Amazon boxes all the time, don't you? They're all printed on things. Those guys are doing all right. I think I would follow that lead. So I think with the food and drink, and it's more regular, I think it's probably more the external. Look, they've got their box delivery again or similar. Yeah, I think there's still a shout for it.
Alrighty.
Provocative question time, round 2.
All right.
You guys ready? Rich, I know you've jumped on your ad. If you do need to jump off, you're more than welcome to jump off whenever. You can stick around.
My face isn't sure, but I'm enjoying it.
Don't worry, I've got that problem too. Right, Adam, I'm giving you this question. What's the worst advice you've ever heard in e-commerce?
Put all of your money into insert SEO, CRO, paid ads. And
you're talking about into one of those.
Into one of those. And I hear it I heard it at Ecom Collab Club last time, and I had to dive in and correct someone about that. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. I know it is a cliche, but I keep hearing it being pushed by different people who say that this is the one silver bullet. It's the worst thing you can do.
I'll play devil's advocate on that a little bit. I strongly feel that you need to tackle the biggest problem at that time. So, for instance, if you've got a problem with SEO, 100% go and fix your SEO. But don't forget that SEO isn't fix it, done, there it is. It's something that you've got to pay attention to long term. And it's the same thing when you get to CRO. When you're optimizing your website, it's not something that you just do over the course of 3 months and you go, hey, great, my website's optimized. No. We worked with one company for almost 8 years or 6 years. Continuously optimizing. Now, it's not something that is just, okay, cool, we've done it, now it's finished.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with everything. Yes, you can dial one down and dial one up and go in. If you do have a fundamental issue, say, for instance, your SEO has dropped off because you've done a redesign and you didn't pay attention, you went and changed your site and all of a sudden all your organic traffic's dropped off. Hell yes. Go fix your SEO. When you fix that, we understand that you need to throw all your money in that basket. But when you've done that, get back onto the normal of getting everything done all the time. And it's like, you know, especially for me, going to the dentist, you've got to go for your regular checkups. You've got to get that regular maintenance done on things like that. It's like going to the gym. You know, if you don't go to the gym for a long time, you're unfit. And then when you do go to the gym, it's a massive struggle to try and get back up to fitness. But if you go to the gym all the time, you probably only need to go 3 times a week and you happy as Larry, right?
Yep. Totally.
Tangents. I like that. Rich?
Mine's topical at the moment, and it is delete or suppress all of your data to bring your costs down in Klaviyo. And it's kind of starting to remind me of the GDPR gate, when a lot of big brands deleted a lot of big databases for no good reason, because consultants charged them £1,200 for told them to do that. For anyone that doesn't know, Klaviyo has launched some pricing changes, which means it's enforcing something that has kind of been in place for a while, but with loopholes, and the loopholes have now gone. So you need to pay for the amount of Klaviyo terminology active subscribers that you have. I've seen a lot of scary LinkedIn posts deleting data. And firstly, never delete data. The only reason to delete data is if someone says, can you delete me from your database? Even if someone says, never email me again, and suppress them, because it's actually better to have them suppressed and know to not email them than it is to delete them and they find their way in on an import and you accidentally email them again another day. And yeah, there is a lot of dark corners of Klaviyo accounts and all CRM accounts, Omnisend accounts, everything, where there will be a glut of data that is useless, and people don't like to suppress things because someone at the top of a business thinks that's like throwing money away. So yeah, that's the worst advice I'm seeing at the moment, is the brash, just make a segment of people that are unengaged and get rid of them. And consider your options. Like, you should be cleaning accounts anyway all the time of data, so do that. But also look at Omnisend, look at other platforms and stuff, and see if there's a better suit, because they are putting themselves in a position where they are now sort of saying, if you are the sort of person that likes to have a big database but only email people sporadically, we're probably not the platform for you. Gosh.
No, but it's real talk, Rich. But I think this is the thing at the moment, isn't it? Is that we did this as an agency as well. We, for a long time, nailed our colours to the mast of saying that we would only use certain tools. And obviously, as the market in the UK has matured, and also as more tools have been developed and come out, you can't really have that sort of impression anymore. Everyone that comes to you is going to have a different need and a different cost base that they need to work to. And because of that, then you need to keep your ears open as a brand, but also as an agency as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think there are a lot of pretenders to the Klaviyo throne at the moment that are coming up on the rails. And yeah, as a business, we've got to entertain them all because it's horses for courses.
Yeah, totally.
Next question. If you had to scale a brand without spending a penny on ads, how would you do it? Rich, you want to go first?
Okay. Well, world exclusive. I am, as of this week, in that position. So I am not a wealthy man. Let me check. I bought the domain.
I'll quickly go buy.
Yeah, I have. Can't actually find the tab that you guys are on again now, but I will do. Yeah, I am now the proud owner of hatrad.co.uk. And here is the first prototype.
There we go.
Awesome, mate.
So this came off the back of a LinkedIn post where I've got one of these that my fiance, can you edit that out, please? Sourced from Ohio, paid an extortionate amount of money to get it into the country because that was the exact sort of thing I wanted, which wasn't just to sort of display and now I'm machining them. So I've got to do that. And I think it's going to be heavily based on something I'd never heard before, but heard at Ecom Collab Club last month, EGC, employer generated content. So I'm going to be posting about it. There was a wealth of people in the comments that said, take my money, where can I get one of these? So I'm going to make sure that they get them and then they post about it. And that is, I think, where you got no choice but to go, is because if you had a budget, you'd be spending it on social ads. So what's the other way that you can infiltrate social without paying for the ads? It's with user generated content, nano influencers, micro influencers and things. So yeah, content. And then making sure, because the value of those people that land on that website, it's going to be really sort of smaller numbers. You can't just open up the tabs with meta ads and things, but the intent should be higher. It's just doing all that you can then to make sure that you do everything to nurture those people.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rich, and that's exciting. Nice for you to finally have one of those e-commerce stores, though. And I agree with you.
I haven't got a store yet. I've literally got I've got wood. That's what I've got.
We need to edit. We need to take that bit and just put that as a soundbite somewhere. I've got wood.
Yeah. Welcome, Rich. How's it going? I've got wood. Yeah, EGC, massive. The last couple of podcasts, we've been talking a lot about EGC and micro influencers, and the guys came in here and talked about it and how they hacked that micro influencer market. And it's just kind of people, these small followings that actually, I think all you have to do now, we'll go onto TikTok, go watch some videos, and every time you see somebody wearing a hat, go, okay, cool, here we go, I'm sending you this rack, can you post about it? You've got to do it better than that, and speak to the influencer geniuses, not me, about that. But 100% it's video content. It's definitely video content that you would have to be producing. And scrappy as all hell, I would say. Like, just you and your iPhone, go for it, go and shoot some random stuff, use CapCut, whatever it is. But if you're not posting on all the shorts and YouTube shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels, all of that shit, that's what I would be doing if I didn't have any money to go and spend on ads. Adam, you want to add anything, or should we move on?
Let's move on.
You can tackle that one first.
What is the biggest waste of money you've seen a brand spend on? Not recent, but a few years ago, we did have a brand that we worked with who spent £6,500 on one 30-second video for a Facebook ad. Interestingly, when they put the ad out there, the ad bombed, and the phone video that they did to come, so I guess complement this ad, performed very, very well. And I think that was a big lesson from them. That was, when they told me, my heart just sank a little bit. Hopefully now people are not even entertaining that as an option, especially I think, like you said today, is that content that is out there is doing much better when it is more unpolished, more raw, more real, more authentic. I know we keep saying that word, but
we can't have a podcast without the word.
No, exactly. So yeah, definitely that was the biggest waste of money.
Yeah. Okay. Rich, anything to add on that one, or shall we move on?
Consultants where there's then nobody to go and do the work.
Yes.
Classic.
And that's probably my biggest pet hate as a consultant and as an observer as well, is to spend tons of money and have no internal resource or a plan as to how you're going to go and execute that plan. And then in the end, you say, well, this consultant hasn't worked. We're no further forward. So you've been with that consultant. And then in 6 months' time, you go, still no further forward. Why don't we bring in a consultant? So that'd be my biggest waste of money.
Adam and I dabbled in the consulting side for a bit, and both of us absolutely struggled with the fact that we couldn't actually go and do the stuff for them, because we would talk about it, and then a month later, 2 months later, nothing was done. And I was like, why are you paying us money to tell you to do these things, making us keep you accountable, but never doing anything? So it was like, we wanted to pick up the tools and just go and do it for them. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you not getting somebody to do this? Ultimately, consultants get paid more, right? Pay somebody less to go and implement that thing for you. Yeah. I'll go first on the next one. What's more important, conversion rate or average order value? You can't choose. You can't say both. Might contradict myself here a bit. Conversion rate is more important. But that doesn't mean that when you do conversion rate optimization that you shouldn't be focusing on the other. I know I said I couldn't say it. I know this question says we can't say both. But you've got to focus on conversion rates. If you're new and you're a young business, ultimately, and also if you're pumping ads, normally that means your conversion rate needs to go up. The caveat here, and where the contradiction comes in, is if you go and analyze that site, you do an audit, and the conversion rate is actually performing relatively well for the traffic that's coming in there, then the other lever to pull is the average order value. But I think I would answer this with conversion rate, because I would say at least 60% of the time, it'll be conversion rate before average order value. It's also the easier one to pull. It's the easier one to flex up. Average order value isn't that easy to flex up. It's doable, but it's not as easy as a conversion rate flex. Did I contradict myself enough there?
Not really. I mean, I tend to agree with you. I mean, but I think the thing that pisses me off about AOV is that it always gets forgotten about. And, you know, when you talk to someone in a brand, and I'm having this conversation now, is that the e-commerce manager is very much interested in, yes, conversion rate, AOV, purchase frequency, LTV. He's looking at all those different levers, but the C-suite, all they give a shit about is conversion rate. And he's trying to have that conversation with them to explain the fact that, yes, okay, conversion rate is an important metric, AOV, and then also purchase frequency and thinking about LTV also impacts on the bottom line. And I often think, you know, that when you look at brand sites, you can clearly see there's been a lot of work gone in to try and boost the conversion rate. You can tell by the way that they stretch their product pages. You can tell by their customer journey flows. But what you can also see is they haven't really done a lot on AOV. You don't see bundling. You don't see gamified carts as much as you should do. You don't see post-purchase offers. You don't see cross-selling, upselling done in a way that's intelligent. So I think, you know, I always think that it tends to be kind of the poor cousin of conversion rate, but in reality.
The poor cousin.
No, I can't say both, but it doesn't say I can't say it depends. It does depend. Like if your average order value increases by 50%, but you're still only converting 0.1% of people that land on the site, it isn't really going to move the lever. As if you're converting 10% of the people that land on the site, but your average order value means you're barely scraping a margin, then that isn't going to help you either. So it really does depend on what you need. And why can't I say both? Who made you?
That question said that you can't say both. I'm not God.
Yeah.
The questions are God.
I think the key thing to do is to try and increase one without bastardizing the other.
Yes.
And what you often see is the sort of, if you want to tally up traffic with that and create the holy trinity of the metrics as I see them, what most people will do is say, right, I've got a great conversion rate and or a great average order rate. Let's open up the taps, let's get more, and throw £10,000 into Meta, and then see both of those things drop dramatically because the intent and the sort of people that are landing on the site is different. So it's an art, not a science.
Nods. Lots of nods. What's the dumbest thing you've seen an e-commerce guru suggest? It doesn't have to be a guru, I suppose. It could be anybody.
I'm trying not to get personal here, but I'm going to say it anyway. Alex Hamoti, okay? I can't take the contradictions in terms of what he says and puts out there. I know he's addressed this recently by saying, look, he's very busy, he puts a lot of content out there, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. But the danger, I think, with all these different gurus that you hear and see about, and it's the same with like Gary Vee as well. I think Gary Vee is probably less contradictory in terms of things that he maybe puts out than Alex Hamoti is. But it's the fact that ultimately someone will pick up one of those sound bites and won't pick up all of them. So they won't have heard when that thing is being contradicted to be able to then to make a decision about which one is about best for them. They'll take certain snippets of it. Now, if that works for them, happy days, great, the world's a better place. If not, it leads them down a path that makes them think that that is the be-all and end-all of everything that they need to do within their business or e-commerce business. That, for me, is dangerous. That, and that's why I shy away from following these guys when some of the stuff they put out there does contradict yourself. Have a position, stick to that position, and be consistent with it. If you do want to change your tact, tell us why you've changed your tact and say why your opinion's changed, but don't put out there all this scattergun comments and things that you should do and shouldn't do and locking yourself in a freaking kitchen for 10 hours and then actually life's more important, blah, blah, blah. Like, which one is it?
I agree with you, the contradictions, right? But I'm going to play devil's advocate here just a little bit. What is the time period in this contradiction? Because, I mean, let's face it, especially in what we do, shit changes quickly. And you can take a stance one day and 3-4 weeks down the line, somebody might have taught you different. I would say even on this podcast today, I probably had a position and you guys have brought a different way to think about it, which potentially could change my mind on it. And, that's progressively, maybe the next time we do a video, I talk differently about it. And somebody goes, hey, 3 weeks ago you said this, but then I say this, but I forgot that I said it the other day. Maybe I'm sticking up for them too much, but at the same time, like, shit changes so quickly. Is it like one day to the next day that these guys are saying that? Or is it like, okay, wait, that was 2 months ago and now they said something different?
Yeah, I mean, look, Alex Hamoti particularly, he's been called out, for kind of posting something at the start of 1 week and then something that's contradiction by the end of it. And I think that's the thing. And I think also like on that point is ultimately how we all feel about e-commerce and the things that we do is pretty much ingrained in all three of us. We've been in the game long enough now to have those kind of opinions that are pretty, closely held. If something does changes that makes us change our philosophy or change our thought about it, I think we would all probably address that and say, look, I used to think this way, but actually I found this new tool or I saw someone doing it this way. And actually now I think different. So, I just kind of think you just need to be a bit more transparent. And ultimately, look, I'm an opinionated person. I will say shit. But, at the same time, if I realize that I'm wrong or if I realize that things have changed, I'll call it out. And I just wish these guys, that have people hanging on their every word would do the same.
Yeah.
I think you just mentioned transparency and I think authenticity as well. And I think you mentioned about it's posting content for content's sake, or someone had mentioned that that's why they're posting it, is because I've got to post a lot of content and things. And I think my biggest hang up at the moment is seeing big, like, oh, this is great, and this platform's just released all these new features, it's going to be it's going to do this, when I know there has been zero adoption of that platform. by that person. And it's almost like a sort of influencer culture has sort of taken over and things. I remember doing some work with Yo when we moved from Yo Sushi to Yo back in my previous life, pre-e-commerce. We used to get a lot of like the influencer culture was just rabid then, like Love Island was first kicking off and it was really, really big. And you just get this, you know, the lack of authenticity. And, you know, we in the end had to prove their content before they put it out because they didn't know anything about anything. Like, you know, very outwardly vegan or vegetarian going in and eating fish because they didn't realize that went against their vegan beliefs and stuff. And so, yeah, I think transparency is my biggest thing. And a bit like in that world where you had to almost put like, this is an ad, product placement sort of thing. It's that sometimes. So sort of saying, you know, maybe a little disclaimer at the bottom of the post, say these views are mine, might be influenced by who's flown me to New York, except
Some of the dumbest shit that I've seen recently. So, yeah, very, very well-known CRO agency. Apparently, I don't know who they are. Hell, I hope it wasn't Blend Commerce. Your conversion rate should be 2 to 3%, and their average order value is $300. It's like, geez. Normally, like if you're going to look at those type of averages and you're going to just broad brush with an average and give somebody the advice that's where they should be at, you've got to take into consideration what their product price is, right? $300 product, it's just not going to cut it, is it? So, yeah, these freaking broad brush, you've got to be this range because that's industry average. Just hell no.
I mean, that for me. Yeah, and I think, Bob, the problem is as well, mate, is with this is that you hear this, people always ask you, you know, down on a call, or when you get so for an e-commerce site, how many people should buy and what's the conversion rate should be? And you always hear the same shit again and again, between 2 and 3%. Bullshit. Yeah. Yes, okay, as an average, maybe that was a couple of years ago. If you look at average now, it's different now, actually, what the average is, but it depends what the niche is. Depends what the product, like, man, it just drives me crazy.
Normally the answer is, what's a good conversion rate? We're doing 1%. A good conversion rate that is 1.1%. It's something better than what you're doing right now. That's probably the best way to answer that question, isn't it? Should we go to round 3?
Yeah.
And let's wrap this battle up. Rich, appreciate you sticking around, mate. So, Rich,
I've got 1 minute and I'm just busy at the moment checking your maths on whether that would be the time to finish a marathon in if you did every 100 meters in 10 seconds. And I think you're slightly off.
Well, then ChatGPT's off because I didn't do that maths. I asked ChatGPT. Right, this is the quickfire round. You get to look at those. Choose one only. And we say it on 1, 2, 3.
Profit.
Growth.
He just wants to disagree with us for no reason.
That is literally what you told me to come here for.
Are you saying that for a reason, or are you just being facetious?
I think I'm saying it because it's where my head is at as an agency owner at the moment. And I think I am not mad trying to grow to be acquired. And so I'm more trying to grow to self-pollinate, and so I'm investing things back in to grow and develop the team and things, so for a greater good. That has to flip to profit. It can't be a constant, but I think it's just a current mindset today. I woke up and chose growth.
As long as you're not choosing violence, it's all good. And then profit. Why?
I mean, from an e-commerce brand point of view, ultimately, I think it gets forgotten about. And if you're not doing it from the outset with a profit view in mind, you're going to get into some very bad habits. They're going to make it even harder to generate a profitable business. So I think, you know, for me, profit would always be the North Star metric that you'd use.
We had a question that we didn't quite get to. It was like, what is your metric if you only had one? We won't go there though. Next question. Branding or performance marketing? 3, 2, 1. Branding. Yeah, we actually agreed. This is good. We're going to make Rich go first next time so that he can't just disagree for disagree. Yeah, I think for me is probably to what we were saying in the last one, but profit with growth. If you're investing in your brand, you're investing in the ability to profit later. Your profit might be lower now, but long term, you're then going to have brand equity. If you do sell something that's got a brand to it, whereas if you've got no brand, there's no goodwill.
So essentially, I've been consistent with the two questions, and you two have both slightly contradicted yourselves.
Well, we're just doing an Alex Emoji.
Disagree.
I've got one more quickfire question, and then I have to leave for actual work. So to make it a good one.
Okay. Free shipping or discount code? 3, 2, 1. Free
Free
shipping.
shipping.
Depends.
What did you say, Rich?
It depends.
No, you can't. It's one. Choose one. Free shipping or discount code. As a consumer, I'm more pissed off if I have to pay for shipping than I am happy if I get a discount code.
Free shipping.
It's not beaten down there, Rich.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of use cases and stuff, and so I'm thinking of £12 average order value for your brand, and free shipping for them absolutely kills them. Whereas a 10% discount code would have very low impact. But actually, the advice is to use free shipping as a gate. So don't give it to everyone, but spend £20 and get free shipping. And so yeah, I've settled on that. There you go. I finished on an agreement with you.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate you jumping
No
on with
problem.
us. Thanks for the time. And
Good to see you, Rich. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Bye.
he's going to hit ban from the group there.
Awesome, mate. I enjoyed that today. It was nice to kind of get out some of my inner anger about certain things.
You're all right getting rid of your anger. But before we jump off, one more question for you and I. And this one might get you going a little bit more. Great copy or great design?
3, 2, 1. Great.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, look, we've seen this time and time, haven't we? Some of what you would look at as the ugliest sites that we've worked on that have had great copy have worked very, very well. And I think people over-indexing on making something look beautiful with then crap copy that doesn't explain, doesn't give the right information, doesn't hold the right hands all the way through is, dangerous. So for me, I'm going copy every day of the week on that.
Yeah. It's your salesperson, right? That's
Yeah.
the person that's actually selling your product. Your copy sells. Your design makes it look pretty and people go, ooh, that looks nice. But if they can't find the information, the button color that you've chosen is not going to make the difference to them buying today or not buying today.
Amen.
All right. On that note, let's wrap it up. Thanks for jumping on. And everybody that's been listening, appreciate you guys being here and listening to 3 random guys rattle on about random stuff in e-com. Please remember to subscribe, join our community, and we'll catch you next time when we got a brand on.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
Cheers.